Trading has closed on the 18th of July, 2022. We always start with our disclaimer, so let us do that. It's my trading plan for tomorrow, July the 19th, 2022. Remember, I could be completely wrong. Any trade you make should be at your own risk. Look for the pattern with the early low, which is this. Tomorrow should also have the early low. Typically, this is a positive pattern. It's a high in the final hour. Usually, the final hour high exceeds the early low. When it doesn't, it leads to more weakness. Doesn't have to be immediate, but unless you overtake this high promptly, which looks like quite a long shot to me, regardless of what happens early tomorrow, before too long, we should undercut this low. We said at the close of Friday's trading, this was one place at which this rally could stop. And if it didn't stop here, we said if we gapped down immediately, that was the end. And if not, then in terms of time, but not necessarily price, the rally shouldn't have too much more to go. Just a review of what we said. We said if we gapped down smartly, it could drop, but otherwise we didn't have much more to go in terms of time. Over here, MEJT gave an ultimate buy signal. There's no time limit on that, and it also says this drop is false. It's going to retrace. Each one of those things gives us a higher target, 38.8423. Just remember, at major changes in trend, which this certainly could be, MEJT almost always leaves a failed target. So that might not work. It should print at some time if it doesn't print soon, but if it doesn't print tomorrow. But if you're long, don't cross your fingers and hope for this, because I'm going to show you why this could be a major top. This is the COVID low. This is the all-time high. Divide that into 8 equal parts. Where they cross here, connect this to this low. Get resistance areas. Stopped right at resistance at today's high. I'm looking for 32.29. Give or take a little for this to end. Now at 32.29, gray A and gray C would have a good fib relationship. At 32.29, magenta A and magenta C would have a good relationship. And if black B ended today at 32.29, you can set your fib grid at 78.6, and at that price, black A and black C would have a good fib relationship. Doesn't mean we have to hold here, but if it does hold here, everything is going according to my plan, and the fibs work perfectly on multiple scales. So it certainly isn't something to sneeze at. If we overtake today's high, then it's not going to work on this time frame, but certainly it's a very reasonable candidate. Let's focus in on the end of this wave. We said we had bracket A, bracket B, and on Friday we said bracket C had a good fib relationship to bracket A, 61.8. Well, at today's high you got 78.6, so it's the same idea at a different Fibonacci level. Let's focus in on everything from this wave up. Well, I thought this was a 5-wave structure, but it actually counts perfectly as a 3. If that's A with ABC and that's B, and wave C that's A, and wave C is 161.8% of A, gold C, has that ratio to gold A, and the ABC works perfectly too. Now, I don't know how to count the waves after that, but if that's the right count, I don't know what degree these waves are, but if that's A and that's B, we have C equal to A right at today's low. So we have a count which justifies a rally from today's low as well as a higher target way back up to this prior consolidation's lows. Doesn't mean it has to happen, but that's how high you could rally without killing the idea. So that conflicts with the general bearish picture of my other stuff, so we have to use the mixed signals rules that are down here. Tomorrow's pattern has a early low, doesn't mean you won't gap up. There's a higher MEJT target. Unless we gap down smartly, the rules call for it to print. Failure is quite possible here, because the wave count is compatible with this being a major change in trend, with a drop to the 3229 area giving great imbalance on the wave count. These things don't just happen by accident, and if today's high holds and we drop that much, everything goes according to plan. The ideal situation would be an opening rally, followed soon thereafter by a colossal failure, which doesn't have to happen the same day. Just a reminder, you don't always get the ideal situation. So tomorrow's pattern has the early low. It doesn't mean you won't gap up, doesn't mean you won't even revisit our target price. But as long as this high holds, the wave count certainly argues for a colossal drop from here, not necessarily starting immediately, but certainly starting before too long. And if the idea is wrong, you've got a reasonable stop. And that's today's call.